In this video, we are going to learn how to count atoms in various types of chemical formulas. In the first rule of counting atoms, the symbol of an element represents one atom of that element. So for example, Na is sodium, indicates that there is one atom of sodium. If you have a subscript is a number that is written at the lower right corner behind the symbol of an element. If there is more than one atom of the element, then a subscript is used to indicate the number of atoms. For example, if we have H2, the subscript here is indicating that we have 2 atoms of hydrogen in one molecule. So there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. A subscript written outside a bracket multiplies all the elements inside the bracket. So it's almost like you're using distributive property here, which you learned in grade 9 math, to our chemical formula. So for example, if we have Mg3 bracket PO4 bracket 2, the subscript 2 is applied to all the elements within the bracket. If we were counting the number of atoms then, Mg3 indicates there are 3 magnesium atoms. And then if we look inside the bracket, we have 1 phosphorus, but that gets multiplied by 2, meaning that we have 2 phosphorus atoms. And then we have 4 oxygens, but we need to multiply that by 2 because the 2 is outside of the brackets, meaning that we have 8 oxygen atoms total. A coefficient is a number that's written in front of a chemical symbol and indicates the number of atoms of that element. So for example, if we had 3C, what that's indicating is that we have 3 carbons. So if we were counting the number of atoms here, we would say that we have 3 atoms of carbon. Finally, if you have a coefficient, it is a number that's written in front of a chemical formula. It is going to indicate the number of molecules of that compound. So a coefficient is going to multiply the number of atoms of each element in the formula in a similar way that a subscript outside of a bracket does. So for example, if we have 2 H2O, that means that we have 2 water molecules. Each water molecule has 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen, so it's like we're multiplying the 2 through to both, meaning that there are 4 hydrogens and 2 oxygen atoms. In the next example, 3CuSO4, so there is 1 copper in 1 molecule, multiplied by 3 gives us 3 coppers. There's 1 sulfur, but we need to multiply that by 3 to get 3 sulfur. And then 4 oxygens per molecule, so in 3 molecules there would be 12 oxygen. Finally, the last one makes use of both coefficients and subscripts. So remember, we need to multiply the 2 through in the brackets, and then the 4 applies to all atoms in the molecule. So lead, since it's outside of the bracket, there's just 1, but we need to multiply that by 4, so that gives us 4 lead. For nitrogen, there's 1 inside the bracket, multiplied by 2 gives us 2, and then multiplied by 4 gives us 8 nitrogen total. And finally, oxygen, there are 3 inside the bracket, multiplied by 2 gives us 6, and then multiplied by 4 gives us 24 oxygens total.